All right, diving right in. You wanted us to unpack Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret.
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, published back in 1944. But this whole idea that our feelings shape our reality.
Still so relevant.
It really is. It's
Right.
like he was ahead of his time. And to help us make sense of it all, we've got an expert
Happy to be here.
who can shed some light on Goddard's ideas.
Yeah, it's amazing how he goes beyond just mentioning these concepts. He builds like a system.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, a framework, almost like a user manual for your own mind.
Okay, I like that.
And gives us tools, potentially life-changing tools.
I'm intrigued. So right away, Goddard comes out strong, he says. Consciousness is the one and only reality. Not just some abstract concept, but the foundation of everything.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to grasp that?
Well, he uses this really vivid analogy of a stream to explain consciousness.
Okay.
He divides it into the conscious and the subconscious. So think of the conscious mind, which he kind of equates to the masculine aspect, as the chooser, the decision maker. This is where we see the effects of things.
Okay, so then where does the subconscious come in? What's its role in all this?
The subconscious, and he links this to the feminine aspect, is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
This is the realm of cause. It's impersonal, doesn't judge, just incredibly powerful.
So the conscious mind has the ideas.
Yeah.
But the subconscious makes them happen.
Exactly. It takes those ideas and brings them to life.
That's powerful. So how do we connect the dots then? How do we get from an idea in our head to actually seeing it in our world?
That is the million-dollar question. And for Goddard, the answer is feeling.
Feeling.
His big idea, the secret, is that it's not enough to just think about what we want. We have to feel it as if it's already true.
Okay.
For that subconscious to grab onto it and make it real.
There's this line that really stuck with me. What you feel you are always dominates what you feel you would like to be.
Powerful, isn't it?
So powerful, it makes you really examine those everyday feelings we usually just ignore.
Exactly. Imagine you're constantly feeling stressed or like you're lacking something. Well, Goddard says those feelings are more likely to show up in your life.
Because the subconscious is a mirror.
Yeah, like a mirror reflecting back what we feel most strongly.
If you want to change your reality, you got to start by changing how you feel.
Exactly. It's an inside-out approach.
Okay, that's a huge concept, but how do we actually change those feelings? It's not like we can just snap our fingers and feel differently, right?
Right. It takes work, and Goddard offers two powerful tools: sleep and prayer.
Sleep. Okay, now that's interesting. How does getting some shut-eye tie into making our dreams a reality?
Goddard describes sleep as this intimate encounter with the subconscious, almost like a rendezvous with a lover.
Okay.
He even quotes the Song of Solomon, talking about seeking your beloved at night.
Wow.
The idea is that the subconscious adores the conscious mind exactly as it is.
Unconditionally.
Yes, and faithfully mirrors back whatever image it's given.
So our state of mind before bed becomes the blueprint for the subconscious.
You got it. That final thought, that lingering emotion as we drift off.
It's incredibly powerful.
So powerful. If we fall asleep anxious or worried, that's what we're feeding the subconscious.
So much for that late-night doom scrolling.
Right.
Okay, so we've got sleep. What about prayer? How does Goddard approach something so traditional?
He totally flips the script. It's not about pleading with some external force for what you want.
Oh, interesting.
Prayer for Goddard is about accessing the state of deep receptivity, like that drowsy feeling right before you fall asleep.
So less asking, more aligning yourself with what you want.
Exactly. Feeling the wish as already granted.
He says, the moment you accept the wish as an accomplished fact, the subconscious finds means for its realization.
Powerful stuff.
It's almost like surrendering control.
Process.
Yeah, a trust fall with the universe.
Yeah.
That's a big shift for most people. Okay, so sleep, this redefined prayer.
Yeah.
What else does Goddard give us to work with this subconscious power?
Well, that's where living in the state of the wish fulfilled comes in. And it's not just during sleep or prayer.
This is a 247 thing.
Goddard urges us to live as if our desires are already true, to embody that feeling all day long.
So if I want a promotion, I should act like I already got it.
Exactly, he says. You never attract that which you want, but always that which you are.
Now.
It's not about chasing something external, but becoming the person who already has it.
Okay, that sounds like a serious challenge.
It is, but that's the power of feelings. Thoughts are important, but they need that emotional fuel for real change.
So to attract abundance, I need to feel abundant, even if my bank account says otherwise.
Perfect example. Think, how would you feel if you were already financially abundant? What would you do differently? Start acting like that now.
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
This is all fascinating, but it makes me think, what about free will? If our actions are driven by subconscious impressions, those feelings from the past, do we really have any control?
Goddard dives into that, and his take might surprise you. He suggests free will could be more of an illusion than we think.
Really?
Our actions are often guided by those subconscious impressions.
Well, they're just patterns of feeling.
Exactly. But here's the key. We might not control every action.
Okay.
But we can choose how we react and feel in this moment.
Okay.
And those choices, those shifts in feeling, shape our future.
So we're constantly creating new subconscious impressions with every feeling.
Exactly. That's our power. Dwell on negativity, reinforce those patterns, or
choose to cultivate positive feelings.
And build a new blueprint.
It's not about denying the tough emotions.
Wow.
It's about recognizing them and choosing which ones to feed.
Owning our inner world.
Which can be incredibly powerful. This is going to be so much to think about, and we've only scratched the surface.
I know, right? There's so much more to explore.
Can't wait to hear more.
One of the things that I find so fascinating about Goddard's work, is how he takes these kind of big abstract ideas and makes them applicable to our everyday lives.
Really?
Like, he's not just talking about the subconscious in this theoretical way. He's actually giving us these practical techniques to work with it.
Yeah.
To harness its power.
And that's what I love about feeling is the secret. It's not just like some philosophy book that you read and put back on the shelf.
Yeah.
It's like he's giving us a system.
Yes.
A method that we can actually put into practice.
Totally.
So where do we go from here? We've covered the power of feelings, how sleep plays a role, and even this new way of thinking about prayer. What other tools does Goddard have in his toolbox?
Well, this is where things get a little bit controversial, but also incredibly thought-provoking.
Okay, I'm ready.
Goddard suggests that we shouldn't just believe in God or Jesus, but that we should believe we are God or Jesus.
Okay, wow.
He argues that we all possess the capacity for those same works, those same miracles, if we only dared to believe it.
That's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
Even for someone like me who's always been intrigued by spirituality.
Right?
It's a lot.
It is, and it definitely pushes the boundaries of traditional religious thinking. But if we view it within the context of Goddard's entire system, it starts to make a bit more sense.
Okay.
He's essentially saying that we each have this incredible power within us, this divine creative force that we can tap into if we make that choice.
So it's about recognizing our own divinity.
Yeah.
Our own potential to create and shape our reality.
Exactly. It's about owning our power instead of giving it away to some external deity.
I see.
Goddard's suggesting that the kingdom of heaven, that power to create, resides within each of us.
That's a very empowering message.
It is.
But I imagine it's also a lot to absorb for those who've been raised with more traditional religious beliefs.
It is. And I think it's important to approach Goddard's ideas with an open mind.
Yeah.
To be willing to question our assumptions and consider different perspectives.
For sure.
He's not on a mission to convert anyone or force his beliefs. He's just offering another way to understand ourselves and the universe we live in.
That makes sense. So for those who might not be ready to embrace that concept of being God or Jesus,
right?
What are some more practical takeaways from feeling is the secret? How can we actually apply these ideas to create positive change?
Well, one of the most crucial things Goddard emphasizes is the importance of consistency.
Okay.
It's not enough to just have a fleeting feeling or a momentary belief.
Right.
We need to cultivate a state of being, a sustained feeling of the wish fulfilled, to truly imprint it on the subconscious mind.
So it's about making a conscious effort to shift those dominant feelings.
Yeah.
To stay focused on the positive, even when things get tough.
Yes, and to do it consistently day after day.
Wow.
Until it becomes our natural state.
Like a habit.
It's like working out a muscle.
Yeah.
The more we practice feeling the way we want to feel, the stronger those neural pathways become.
Interesting.
The easier it is for those feelings to show up in our reality.
So Goddard also talks about letting go of the past, right? Not dwelling on those old mistakes or regrets.
Absolutely. He has that powerful line, let the dead bury the dead. Clinging to negative feelings from the past is like slowly poisoning ourselves.
Yeah.
It keeps us trapped in those old patterns and prevents us from moving forward and creating something new.
So it's about bringing our focus to the present moment.
Yes.
Choosing the feelings we want to experience right now and letting those feelings guide our future.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of that inner state and using it to create the life we desire.
You know, it's interesting how Goddard connects these seemingly abstract concepts to something as practical as our physical well-being.
Yeah.
He even mentions that emotional disturbances, especially those suppressed emotions, can actually manifest as disease in the body.
That's right. And that connection between the mind and body is something that's gaining more and more traction in modern medicine, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
When we hold on to negative emotions, they create stress and tension in the body, and that can eventually lead to illness.
So learning to manage our feelings, to process them in a healthy way, and let go of what no longer serves us. Could that be the key to not just a happier life, but a healthier one as well?
Absolutely. Goddard's work is all about empowerment. It's about recognizing that we're not victims of circumstance.
Right.
We have the power to choose our thoughts, our feelings, and ultimately the reality we experience.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
This conversation is already giving me so much to think about.
It's really deep stuff.
And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of what feeling is The Secret has to offer.
We really have. There's so much to explore within Goddard's work.
I'm curious what's resonating most with you. What's one key takeaway from feeling is the secret you think our listeners should really sit with and ponder?
If I had to pick just one, it would be the importance of becoming aware of our dominant feelings. Goddard really encourages us to pay attention to how we feel throughout the day, to notice those patterns in our emotional state.
Right.
Because those feelings, those habitual patterns of emotion, are what's shaping our reality, whether we realize it or not.
So it's about taking a step back and becoming an observer of our own inner world.
Yes.
Noticing those subtle shifts in feelings and making conscious choices about which ones we want to nurture and empower.
Exactly. It's about taking responsibility for our inner state, because that's where the true power to create resides.
That's powerful.
It is.
This has been such an insightful deep dive into feeling is the secret. I'm so glad we had the chance to explore it together as we wrap up. What are your final thoughts for our listener? You know, it's funny. It really feels like feeling is the secret is challenging us to kind of look inward and recognize the role that we play in shaping our own reality.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. And it's not about, blaming ourselves for everything that happens. It's more about recognizing that we often have more power to influence things than we realize.
Absolutely. So much of what Goddard writes really seems to boil down to personal responsibility. You know, it's not about waiting for some external force to kind of swoop in and change things for us.
Yeah.
It's about realizing that we actually have the ability to change ourselves.
Right.
And in doing so, potentially change our circumstances.
Exactly. I agree with that. And that can feel incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
But also a little intimidating at the same time.
It's true.
It's definitely easier to sometimes fall into the trap of playing the victim, blaming our problems on things outside of ourselves.
It is. It's comfortable.
Right.
But Goddard's work is really encouraging us to step into this more active role.
Yeah.
To become conscious creators of our own experience.
Yes, exactly.
One of the things that really stood out to me in feeling is the secret was how it
Right.
But Goddard is suggesting that it's actually the other way around.
Wow.
We attract success by becoming the kind of person who is already successful, by truly embodying that feeling of success.
It's like that saying, we don't get what we want, we get what we are.
Yeah, our inner world shapes our outer world.
Precisely, and that's why Goddard emphasizes the power of feeling.
Okay.
It's not enough to simply think about being successful.
Right.
We need to feel it, to truly believe it at a subconscious level, and that's where the tools he discusses like sleep and prayer come into play.
Oh, right.
They help us bypass the conscious mind and impress these feelings directly onto the subconscious.
So if I'm understanding correctly, the key to manifesting our desires isn't about brute willpower.
Yeah.
Or forcing ourselves to do things we don't enjoy.
No, not at all.
It's more about aligning our inner state with the reality we want to experience.
You got it.
It's about becoming that person.
And that takes a certain degree of self-awareness. It's about being in tune with our feelings.
Yeah.
Noticing the patterns that might be holding us back.
Yeah.
And consciously choosing to cultivate the feelings that support our goals and aspirations.
Goddard also talks a lot about persistence.
Yes. He does.
It's not like a one-time effort.
No.
It's about consistently cultivating those feelings we desire.
Absolutely. He says creation is an ongoing process, not a one-time event.
Okay.
We're constantly shaping and reshaping our reality with every single thought and feeling. So it's not about hitting some end goal and then stopping.
Right. It's a way of being.
It's about committing to live in that state of the wish fulfilled.
Day after day.
Day after day, moment after moment.
It's inspiring and also a little daunting. You know,
I know.
It takes real commitment and self-discipline to stay focused on those positive feelings.
Yeah.
Especially when life throws us those curveballs.
Especially when life throws us curveballs, for sure.
But Goddard also reminds us that we're not alone in this process, right? He talks about this divine creative power that's always working with us,
right,
supporting us, guiding us.
Absolutely.
So it's not all about our own effort.
Right.
There's something bigger at play.
I think so, and I think that's a really important point.
Yeah.
Goddard's work can sometimes seem very focused on the individual, on taking personal responsibility, but he also acknowledges that there's a power greater than ourselves.
Yeah.
A universal force that's always at work.
So it's about surrendering to that power.
Yes.
Trusting in the process.
Yeah.
Allowing things to unfold in their own time.
Exactly. Finding that balance between effort and surrender.
I like that.
Yeah.
Taking action, but also allowing.
Right.
This has been such a thought-provoking deep dive into feeling is the secret.
I agree.
I'm so glad we had the chance to explore it together.
Me too.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you, our listener, with a question to ponder. If you truly believed you could become anything you felt yourself to be,
wow,
what would you choose?
That's a powerful question.
And what's one small step you can take today to start cultivating that feeling within yourself?
I love that.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next time with another deep dive into ideas that matter.